The Odisha coastal zone has turned most vulnerable due to recurrence of cyclones and severe cyclones at small intervals. The disasters strike in quick succession, cause death, destruction, and injure many people and make millions homeless. The trauma of the super cyclone in 1999, claiming more than 10,000 human lives, is still fresh in the memory of the people. In the aftermath of super cyclone, the state government achieved greater disaster preparedness, which enabled the state machinery to cope with cyclones like Philin, Hudhud and Titli. A cyclone of unprecedented ferocity named Fani hit the Odisha coast on the 3rd of May 2019 near Puri. Soon after receiving the meteorological warning, the state government started putting its robust systems and preparedness process in place. The biggest challenge after the warning was to make people aware of the fast approaching storm and to keep them safe, because every life is valuable. The state administration, under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Shri Naveen Patnaik, swung into action and began planning.
All precautions have been taken for Cyclone Fani, for people to be evacuated, for food packets, etc., etc. I appeal to everyone to remain indoors tomorrow, and also all business establishments and other offices and shops to remain closed.
Odisha State Disaster Management Authority, OSDMA, Special Relief Commissioner, NGOs and the media spared no efforts to spread awareness about safety measures to be taken before, during and after the cyclone. OSDMA took immediate steps to set up 24/7 control rooms, deployment of satellite and wireless phones in the districts. 20 ODRAF teams, 44 NDRAF teams and 525 fire and disaster response teams were kept in readiness. The task of shifting people and livestock to cyclone shelters in 6 coastal districts most likely to be affected by the calamity was undertaken on a war footing. This was a part of government's every life counts approach. People were warned through alert sirens, megaphones, announcements in the electronic and social media, and door-to-door campaigning. On occasions, the help of the police was sought to facilitate the evacuation process. In all, 15.5 lakh people were shifted to cyclone shelters on the 2nd of May 2019, where they were provided with facilities such as free food, drinking water and healthcare. Attention was paid by the administration to the special needs of vulnerable people, who included pregnant women, the homeless and the physically challenged. Arrangements were also made to provide cattle with feed and health facilities at the shelters. Steps were taken in the town of Puri to send back 25,000 tourists to put them out of harm's way during the cyclone. Cyclone Fani made landfall at the Puri coast at about 8 a.m. on the 3rd of May 2019. And the wind blowing at a speed of about 200 kilometers an hour. through everything that lay on its path as the violent storm moved north and northeastwards. Due to heavy rainfall, accompanied with gale force wind, trees were blown down. Electric poles and telephone towers were torn up and brought down, and houses were razed to the ground. Roads were blocked, power and water supply and communication facilities were severely disrupted, and whole areas got cut off from the rest of the world. In many areas, coconut and mango plantations, betel vines, and standing crops in the fields were ravaged, robbing thousands of people of the sources of their livelihood. The city of Bhubaneswar had been severely affected by the cyclone, and life in the capital city had been thrown into complete disarray. Communication facilities in the path of the cyclone had been completely disrupted. The Chief Secretary was able to contact collectors of the affected districts through ham radios from the OSDMA. The state government immediately started taking emergency relief and reconstruction initiatives. Members of the ODRAF, NDRF and the fire brigade swiftly moved into the cyclone-affected areas and worked day and night to clear the roads of the accumulated debris. Measures were promptly taken to provide food and drinking water to people affected by the calamity. As whole areas were plunged into darkness on account of the disruption of power supply, central locations were lit up with the help of generators and tower lights. On the 5th of May 2019, Honorable Chief Minister undertook an aerial survey of the extent of the devastation wrought by Fani. Estimates revealed that nearly 1.6 crore people were affected by the cyclone and that it had damaged more than 5 lakh houses. 64 human lives were lost. More than 4,500 large and small animals. About 40 lakh poultry perished during the calamity. About 1,80,000 hectares of crop area damaged. At the review meeting held after the aerial survey, Honorable Chief Minister announced a series of relief measures which included 50 kilograms of rice, polythene rolls and cash payment amounting to 2,000 rupees for each affected family.
बात्यार घर द्वारा भांगी जाइए तब सरकार खाइबा सहित पॉलिथिन भी देइछन्दी
सरकार हमको सहायता करछन्दी हम पैसा पाई उपकृत हित
Departmental heads were instructed to expedite the rehabilitation process and to closely monitor reconstruction initiatives. The spectacular success of the monumental effort to shift more than 15 lakh people within the space of 24 hours to safe shelters where they could escape the fury of one of the deadliest cyclones in recent history brought the Chief Minister plaudits from the United Nations organization.
Conduct a very well targeted evacuation plan which resulted in 1.1 million people mainly moving to about 900 cyclone shelters.
People faced a lot of hardship in the aftermath of the cyclone as many lost their livelihood sources. Supply of food and water became very challenging. It took time to restore the supply of electricity to hospitals, offices and houses. Banks could not operate properly without access to internet facilities. Temporary mobile towers and movable bank ATMs were arranged in the affected area. Business activities, especially in a tourist destination like Puri, were badly affected by the dislocation of transport services. Fishermen suffered loss of livelihood as many of their boats got broken by the storm. The large casuarina forest planted along the marine drive linking Puri and Konark was completely destroyed. The focus of construction and relief initiatives was the town of Puri and neighbouring areas in the district where Fani had made the landfall. The town was stripped off almost its entire tree cover. The road running along the seashore were buried under 3 feet of sand deposited by the giant waves. To help people rebuild their lives after the cyclone, the Honorable Chief Minister immediately announced several key measures. The aftermath of the cyclone witnessed spontaneous acts of generosity performed by organizations and individuals to alleviate the suffering of fellow human beings. State government has taken massive restoration works to bring normalcy in the affected areas. On the 12th of May, an 11-member central team comprising senior officials of Government of India assessed the extent of the damage caused by Fani. The team interacted with affected people. The devastation brought about by the cyclone shocked the members of the team deeply. The members expressed the opinion that every area of life in coastal Odisha has borne the brunt of the cyclone and the loss caused by it seemed incalculable.
Assessment of the damage mostly is underestimated because the people and the government cannot wait for relief to arrive and they have to ensure that normalcy is restored.
However, they appreciated the fact that the loss of human lives has been minimized thanks to the laudable coordinated interventions of the state administration, which has shaped a disaster-resilient community. The coastal state had never experienced such a devastating calamity in the month of May in the last 100 years. But the successful disaster preparedness of Odisha in Phylin, Hudhud, Titli and Fani have become an example to the entire world. The UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, different international organizations and media praised the preparedness on intervention and resource mobilization efforts undertaken by the state government to minimize the fatalities of the cyclonic storm. Odisha has demonstrated to the entire world a remarkable achievement by saving millions of people from one of the deadliest cyclones.